Hello YouTube, I am just Robbie, and today we are going to talk about, I'm going to write it in red, global warming. Is it man-made, or is it just a cycle of the planet? Now, I have no doubt that there is cycles that the planets go through. The evidence is there. You know, when you look at the ice caps, etc., etc., the evidence is there. We drill down the ice through the ice sheets, and we got hundreds of thousands of years of records. There's a slight bit in that drilling down of these records that we forget. So, just to explain how this happens. So what happens is snow falls, summer comes, melts a little bit, boom, leaves a little bit of ice there. Then we get another winter come, the snow falls, and summer comes, melts a little bit of the ice. Then winter comes again, regular as clockwork this, and summer comes, melts a bit of ice. Getting the picture? We all know it. Don't have to be a rocket scientist to know this. This is elementary, junior school stuff. But where we are today, because the world temperatures are increasing, in fact, over the last 19 years, every year's been hotter than the last, except for 1 year. And we are now at the warmest point of human civilization. Maybe not the Earth's history, because the Earth is 4.5 billion years old. Now that figure is important, and I'm going to come back to that in a minute, because I just want to finish this, because where we are today is winters comes and snow falls, then summer comes and melts the snow, but it's melted summer last year's as well, all of this year's and summer last year's. Then winter comes, then summer comes, then winter comes, and then summer comes. Now this has been happening for, well, not quite 4.5 billion years, because when the first Earth was first formed, it was just a big fiery ball of lava, really, not much more, very uninhabitable, etc., etc. But we do know that since the year 1900 to 2019, sea levels have risen by 21 centimetres. Yep, which is that much. I'll put that aside of my head. It's about the size of my head. Now, you might not think that that is too much of a problem, unless of course you live in the Maldives, who are only about 2 rulers above sea level, so they're halfway there. But the facts are, is where we just did that little experiment of the ice caps melting, and the melting. Now Greenland itself, the Greenland ice cap, it's thick. It's got a couple of 100,000 years worth of records. If that melts, just the Greenland ice cap alone, sea levels will rise by 6 meters. 6 meters. Now we do know that if Greenland melts, well, the Arctic's going to melt and the Antarctic's going to melt. Now there is an awful lot of ice on the Antarctic. So if that happens, sea levels are going to rise by 70 metres. 70 metres. Now, I'm going to bust in what the UK is going to look like with a 70 metre sea level rise. Don't think you Northern Americans are going to escape this with all your it's not man-made and things. I'm going to come back to that. Man-made, natural phenomenon of the world. But here's what you North Americans are going to look like. And the South Americans. Africa. The Far East. And our colonial friends over there in Australia, they've even got an inland sea. Look. So, as you can see, whether you believe that this climate change is man-made or a natural cycle of the Earth, this is going to affect the 7.5 billion people. In fact, I'm going to go on here. Look, this is, I've had this ticking away. You're probably out of shot actually, but this is worldometer. And on here, you've got current population of the world, 7.72 billion people. And look at it, ever increasing. And when you look at, and this is the important one, I'm going to put my spectacles on so I can see. When we look at the environment one, CO2 emissions, boom, 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 boom. Right, and the reason why that's really important is because when we go down to energy, see that there? Energy used today in kilowatts, etc, etc. But oil's pumped today in barrels, right? Oil left in barrels, yeah? Big figures, right? Now, I'm going to go back to this. 4.5 billion years. Here. So that's how long the Earth has been around. Now we know this, we do know this, right? Because despite all the religious textbooks around the world from various different religions, etc., we do know that the Earth was created 4.5 billion years ago. We also know that our universe was created 14 billion years ago. So we are by far not even the oldest planet in the universe. We know that there's billions of galaxies out there, and each galaxy contains billions of suns, and each sun has a solar system around it. So the chances of us being the only thing out there harbouring life, etc., dinosaurs. But I'm going to go back to this now, dinosaurs. Now there's a reason why I've got a little dinosaur flag up the back here, and that is because, right, dinosaurs roamed the Earth somewhere between 200 million and 65 million years ago, when there was we think an event that came out of the sky, big meteorite, boom, wiped them out, put them into what they call a nuclear winter, where the sunlight couldn't get through for about 3 years or more. We don't know, we weren't around. We're, you know, speculation, guesswork, some people will say. But there are evidence of this, and because of that, the dinosaurs died out. But we do know that life is still there. We do know that there's evidence, still evidence of the dinosaurs in the bird. You've only got to look at the bird in its structure itself, very close to a lot of the dinosaurs. But the reason why I'm going back here 4.5 billion years is because we know that over that 4.5 billion years, the Earth has gone from a fiery bowl of essentially the internals of a volcano, lava and boiling horrible stuff, thousands of degrees centigrade, etc, etc, and it's processed everything and all these gases. It's cooled down and it's processed the gases, etc, and it's taken the gases out of the atmosphere, the bad gases like the CO2s, for example, and it's locked them underground. And how it's locked them underground is through the forms of trees, gas and oil, coal, gas and oil. So vegetation taking the CO2s out, that falls over, dies, etc, etc, layers upon layers, and over billions of years, over millions of years, it creates coal, gas and oil. Now where we are today with this global count, right, is we burnt half of it. Coal, gas and oil. So coal, we burnt about a third. Gas, we burnt over half. Over half. And oil, we burnt over half. So essentially what we've done is, out of 4.5 billion years of the planet doing what it needs to do to make it habitable and nice and comfortable for people like us humans and lots of wildlife, etc. Us humans have come along, and in the last 250 years since the Industrial Revolution, we've burnt half of the natural resources. So when we go back to global warming, is it man-made or is it just a cycle of the planet? What I want you to think about is 4.5 billion years of this planet locking up all of them CO2s into the underground, taking them out of the atmosphere, underground, cooling the Earth's temperature down to make it habitable for life. We've gone and unlocked half of them CO2s and put them back in the atmosphere in 250 years. So if we want to get back to a time where our climate was pretty okay, not only do we need to stop putting CO2s into the atmosphere today, but we also need to pump out the atmosphere all of these CO2s that we've been pumping in for the last 250 years. And at the rate we've been pumping them out, it will take 250 years to lock them back underground, to get them out of the atmosphere. So when people say to me, is global warming man-made or a natural cycle of the Earth, it is without question, based on the fact that we've done this, it's man-made. Now I'm gonna use a prop, and I've gone in the fridge, and yes, I keep my rum in the fridge. I keep it cool because I am a pirate. I'm a pirate at heart. Although my name is just Robbie, I am Bob the Pirate, the unsinkable. Get it? Anyway, so if I was to pour myself a rum, drink it, and pour myself another rum and drink it, and then when I started feeling a bit wobbly, I put the top back on, put it back in the fridge, I'd fall asleep, wake up in the morning sober, I could maybe start drinking again, right? What we've done here, yeah, 250 years of burning 50% of the CO2s, pumping them back into the atmosphere. I've downed this bottle in one. I've gone Now at first I'm perfectly fine, there's nothing wrong with me, right? But it's only a matter of time before the effects of all of this alcohol is going to take hold. And the problem is if I drink all of that down in one go, I'm not going to be a well bunny. And that is where we are with our climate. So just to kind of conclude, we've got all of these reports going on at the moment where every year is hotter than the next year. The world, the entire world, 2019 has experienced the hottest year ever, everywhere. Not just in France, not just in the UK, not just some state out in America, not just some state of Australia. No, the entire world has experienced the hottest year yet. We've drunk the rum, people. We've drunk it. We're gonna get drunk. And when you go back to the pictures of North America, South America, the Far East, Australia, the UK, all with their 70-metre sea level rising, we have got massive displacement of people. This is the bit you've got to think about, right? Because when the sea levels start to rise, yes, it's only been 21 centimetres so far, but you've got to remember that we're pumping these CO2s out at an exponential rate. In fact, oil, right, I'm going to write this in red. Oil, see that? We've only got 40 years. 40 years remaining of oil, and then we burnt the frickin' lot. This is why the governments of all over the world are making sure that we all go over to stop manufacturing fossil fuel vehicles by 2025, by 2030, by 2035, because they know that come 2060 there's no oil. But sea levels will rise. Sea levels are rising. Ice caps are melting. Glaciers are receding. The evidence is there. Stop being stupid. Stop ignoring it, people, and start going, sea levels are rising. Simple as. Climate change is happening. Global warming is happening. There is nothing we can do to stop that. We've drunk the rum. We're waiting now to get drunk. We're going to displace how many billions of people? Billions are going to die from this. But we've got to do something. This Extinction Rebellion group, I think they've got a point. Whether you like the way they've gone around it or not, the fact is we've burnt 4.5 billion years of this planet, locking everything underground. We've pumped back in half of it in the last 250 years. We've drunk the rum.